This is my May favourites because it's nearly June, which is weird because I finish in June or July, and then I'll be taking a year out, which is weird. Because it's weird to think that's how old I am. This is my second attempt at it because first time I talked like non-stop and then I realised I wasn't even in the frame. So that was helpful. Well, I haven't really been reading much. I've only been reading one book, practically. I finished it a couple of days ago. It's called The Beautiful and the Damned by F. Scott Fitzgerald. He wrote Great Gatsby, and anyone who's actually like not living under a rock will know that it's in cinemas with Leo DiCaprio and all that sort of all that lot in the main role. Beautiful and Damned is a is F. Scott Fitzgerald's second book. I think Great Gatsby was one of the later ones, but then this one was before Great Gatsby. That's why it's great. It's an interesting book, but it's a bit like, I think if someone picked it up and made it into a film, then they'd have to be quite careful that they don't get rid of all the character of the story, because it shows that humans are flawed. You know, it's set in the really early jazz era, like 1910, 1908, 1908 sort of time, for that onwards until they reach 1914, and then you sort of then there's the 1918, and then I think it finishes at 1920. It's literally all about two people, Anthony Patch and his wife Gloria. And Anthony wants money. He's very intent on getting some money of any. You know, he wants money. He wants to be rich, which is true of everyone. They want to exist. You know. And yeah, and then they sort of get married, and then all that sort of rubbish along the way, really. And then everything happens, and it crashes and burns and stuff. And this is sort of a time period in late teens, early 20s, when in the early 20th century, when people did live fast and die young, really, unfortunately. But because obviously they were breaking away from the sort of stereotype, from the mould set by the previous generation. Like, again, you know, these people were taking the place of the lost generation who died in the war, and they were trying to, the people left behind were trying to say, we're alive, we're kicking, we're existing, we're trying to live fast, and we might die tomorrow. And it was a great book, but I think it'd be good to see it as a film, but hopefully they can get a good director who actually respects the fact it was actually a great book. And for films, I didn't actually bring the DVD with me out here because I forgot. It's called Primal Fear. It was done in 1996. It was Edward Norton's first feature film. He'd done a lot of stage work before that, but then he did Primal Fear for his first film, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic film. I thought it was going to be like a true movie sort of style film, you know, guy who sort of has a problem and he's got to solve it. Like the lawyer's got a problem, he's got to solve it. He's got this client who's, you know, two personalities and stuff. But I was actually wrong in that regard. You know, I thought it was going to be very simple and very, you know, a bit, you know, a claggy film. It was great. It's a fantastic film. Apparently, and the ending was great. I'm sure the ending's probably more famous than the film itself, though, which is unfortunate. Anyone who's actually seen the ending will know it's fantastic. It's a great ending. But you have to sort of see the whole film to actually understand what he's talking about. Apparently, the stammer was ad lib. It was actually he went into the audition. Edward Norton went into the audition with the stammer to play the role. He got the role. He beat thousands of other actors to the role. I think no one could have done better than he did. And he did it the sort of stammering, you know, boy who everyone thinks, oh yeah, he's innocent, you know, it wasn't him. But one downside is some of it was a bit like Psycho. You sort of feel a menacing over the film, like near the end, and then you sort of realise. Sherlock, Wallander, and Shameless. Well, for Sherlock, I've been watching Series 1 reruns because they've been on Alibi for they're on last weekend, last Friday or last Saturday. A great series. The people who did it are great. All the writers and stuff are great. The original canon was fine. It was an okay lot. I actually got for my 17th birthday. The study in Scarlet or whatever it was called, and then they sort of got her the canon for me. So Yeah, Benton Cumberbatch is a fantastic actor. Martin Freeman is great as well. They're both really great at like as the two main people. It's great because it brings modern light into an old book. It's like quite an old book. Yeah, and it also has I absolutely adore the Belstaff jackets that I think it's Belstaff could be Belstaff jackets that Benedict Cumberbatch wears in the scenes. They're fantastic. I think apparently what I read somewhere that they had actually people had started buying Belstaff jackets in really top places in London just because they'd seen it in Sherlock, which is always good. Wallander is Wallander is the next one I've been watching. I watched the first episode of the first series because I got it for my birthday present in November, and I didn't really watch it. It was always like there in my room. I think I sort of trod on it a couple of times. I just didn't like it at all. And then I started from the beginning, and I loved it. The cinematography is great. The colour is just really interesting. It was just all really great. And Kenneth Branagh is great as... Sorry, I think I need to get the source right here. He's very interesting as Kurt Wallander. I've not actually read the books. There's actually a book series based around Wallander, and also the Shameless last episode. I actually had mixed feelings about this. I actually only watched it. This is not a crush. I'm not talking about a crush or anything. I only watched it because they were going to bring back Anne-Marie Duff for that one episode, and she was great in the first two series. That's the only reason I actually watched it. In general, it was good it ended there, where it did, because I think it would have been like trying to just pull out the inevitable if they carried it on. It was a good thing that ended, and it was a good thing to see that things would carry on as normal when in the future, because obviously otherwise you just feel like there might be another story thread opening up. I haven't been eating this all the time, but I've only discovered them the last couple of days. The Knobbly Bobbly ice creams. I like them because they're nice, and I just like ice cream in general. Quite a sweet idea. Yeah, I think that's probably the least I've got to say about anything on this thing, really. Pond's cold cream. It's like a face cream. It's quite thick, but it sort of sinks in quite well. You've got to take it off. You've got to wash it off with a flannel, because obviously that would make sense, and it doesn't work when you want to take it off with a make it like a cotton pad, because it doesn't feel the same. Yeah, it's best to look after your skin when you can, while you still can. Very old brand as well. Another brand I really like is Revlon, which I don't actually pick as his favourite thing. I just like it because it's another real brand. It sort of started in like the 20s, I think. And I'm in through a period really early in the month of just like buying lots and lots of vintage like brands like Pond's. I've been listening to the Airborne Toxic events. They're an American band. I think they're probably like indie. If you could probably give them if you give them a genre, they'd be indie, I think. Yeah, they're a great band. The music's really great. It sort of combines violins with all the usual sort of guitars and stuff. Their song "Timeless" is probably the best one, as well as "Graveyard Near the House," and that's pretty much it. But they're a great band, and they carry on making music because it's a great mix, really. Because they're on my YouTube suggested videos, and I thought, well, why not? And I would listen to them, and I liked them. So yeah, for the La 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 by Naughty Boy, my brother made me watch the video, and I wasn't so sure, but then when I watched it again, I loved it. So there you go. I had to watch it again. Even though I don't know what is the video about. I mean, seriously. Okay. Well, that is it. Sorry, I'm gonna go and edit it now, hopefully.